Come of Age was directed by a man named Brad Kingston. It is a side note entry in the history of gay erotic cinema, but it becomes an interesting subject piece when you discover that Brad Kingston was actually Pat Rocco. On this episode, we're going to take a look at Come of Age, filmmaker Pat Rocco's first dive into the hardcore erotic entertainment market. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped to get off. Pat Rocco was a pioneering photographer, director, and documentarian during the early days of the gay liberation movement. While he began his career photographing physique models, he soon moved into making loops of men kissing and holding hands, which was a very controversial thing to do in those days. Rocco found success with his films, but then the market began to shift when the audience was ready for the next big leap: hardcore. Rocco's business partnership with Shan Sales and Monroe Buehler, the porno kings of the West, gave him the spotlight his films needed to be successful. But when Shan Sales asked Rocco to produce hardcore films, Rocco declined. No matter how much money was thrown in his direction, he declined. And so his presence in the market he helped create dissipated. When Monroe Buehler left to start his own company, Jaguar Productions, he used many of his contacts from his time with Continental Theaters. One of those contacts was Pat Rocco. Buehler made the decision to once again ask Rocco to think about directing a hardcore gay erotic film. And this time, Rocco accepted. He did, however, direct it under the name Brad Kingston. His first film would be Come of Age. So we begin with this innocent-looking young surfer type named Ron walking down a crowded street. Ron is a recent transplant from Nebraska. Ron immediately bumps into another guy, Mark, who offers to give our protagonist a ride to Hollywood. Ah, such simpler times.
Decided to come out to LA and maybe find a job.
Well, have you found one yet?
No, I can't say that I have.
Well, that's too bad. Hey, listen, I think I have a possibility. We get back to my apartment, I'll call a friend of mine. I think he can line up a job for you.
That'd be great.
Oh, now we're going to Mark's apartment.
I have a great idea. I had planned to spend the weekend at the mountains. I have a cabin up there I use occasionally, and I think that's what we'll do. We'll go up there.
Oh, now we're going away for the weekend. Jeez, this guy works quick. Mark makes good on a job opportunity. Meanwhile, Ron looks around the room before taking a shower and finds some money. He decides to leave it. Mark decides that he's going to take a shower with Ron. And then Mark goes in for the win.
Say, you've really got a groovy body.
Mark and Ron drive up to Mark's cabin. When they get there, we find out Mark doesn't allow anyone to wear clothes in his cabin. Is this really what things were like in the 60s and 70s? I'm asking. Please let me know. Mark and Ron then share a cozy moment by the fireplace. The next morning, Ron has cooked breakfast for Mark. Then the two frolic naked in the woods. Two other hikers, Tom and Ralph, run into Mark and Ron. After being a bit reluctant to their intrusion, Mark and Ron join them, only to find the two engaging in some pretty steamy stuff and watching. The four then frolic back to Mark's cabin, have a good time, and then the movie ends.
Well, I guess you could say you certainly have learned a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you could say that. Experiences with you and the guys and cabin and the job, everything else. Just everything's fallen into place. And it's just really been a good time. So one might say I've sort of come of age.
Hey, that's the title of the film. The sound for Come of Age is decent, although most likely dubbed. But the film did have a good amount of heavyweights behind it when you look at the credits. The film absolutely feels like a Pat Rocco film. It's sentimental and relaxing. It's shot very much like a softcore film until you see the typical fare for hardcore erotic films. Sometimes you can feel the reluctance of the filmmaker as the viewer. Come of Age was released in 1971 and most probably screened at the Century Theater for its premiere. While it is not the best film, it is significant to Rocco's career, which had previously only been made up of romantic and softcore films. Rocco had an eye for what made cinema work and incorporated elements of gay men's lives into a layered fabric, although it was less explicit than his contemporaries. Rocco, as Brad Kingston, would follow Come of Age with films like A Dream of a Body, A Deep Compassion, and Get That Sailor. You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I'm your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on X, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, Threads. And if you like what you're watching or listening to and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifying gay porn, where you can support this podcast and YouTube channel, and I can continue making content like you've just enjoyed. As always, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, leave a comment, and let me know what else you'd like me to cover. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off.